Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to your February 2022 reading with me, Intuitive Rene. I hope 2022 is treating you well so far. I sort of skipped the January readings because life, but I'm hoping that I'm back on track and we will have the videos coming up for you on a regular basis. So these month ahead readings are released, or should be released, the Friday before the end of the month, or should we say Friday before the new month. So that's why these videos are now being released in time for the 1st of February, so that you have a little bit of time to watch the video, to watch the reading, to absorb the information, and be prepared for what the month ahead has in store for you. So there are individual readings for each sign of the zodiac. The process of the reading is done exactly the same for all 12, but obviously the context and the information that comes through will be different for each of the 12 readings. You can watch, the main one that you need to watch is for your sun sign, which is the zodiac that you all know. When people say, oh, what star sign are you? Whatever your answer is to that based on your date of birth, it's where it's where the sun was at the time of your birth, and that is your sun sign. And the zodiacs, these readings that I'm doing, are really based on your sun sign. If you know your moon sign, if you know your rising sign, you are more than welcome to watch those videos as well, to understand yourself a bit better as far as your personality and your emotions and all of those other things. I don't want to go into a whole astrology lesson for you now, but you absolutely can watch those videos to get a little bit more insight into you. I have changed the format of these month ahead readings. So I'm using quite a few cards, and I'm hoping that it's going to give you detailed information to guide you through the month. I would also advise, obviously, watch it now before the month starts, and then do come back and watch it during the month. Maybe set a reminder on your phone to come back sort of halfway through the month, or 10 days in and then 20 days in, and so on. If or any time that you are experiencing a challenge or a problem, or you're not sure which way to go or what's going on. So the video is available to you all the time. You could also even come back to it in March and look at it again and do a bit of an analysis of what was said was going to take place and what actually did. So it could be quite interesting to look at it retrospectively as well. So as I said, there is a video for each sign of the zodiac. Everybody's getting this intro message. It just saves me repeating myself 12 times and that type of thing. So we're now going to go straight into your particular reading, and I do hope you enjoy. At this point, I do want to ask, if you haven't already done, please do consider subscribing to my channel and giving this video a like and a comment. Just lets YouTube know that you've enjoyed it, and it'll help my channel grow and reach more people. So the more people engage and interact with my videos, the more YouTube goes, okay, let's show this to more people, and then that way we actually spread the word a little bit. So as a way of showing appreciation and gratitude for what I do for you as a free service, please do consider a thumbs up, a comment, and if you haven't already done so, please do hit the subscribe. And yeah, let's get into your particular reading. Okay, Scorpio. So on the table here in front of me, I have got two decks of cards which we're going to be working with today. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn, and this deck is going to give us our theme for the month ahead. And this is the Dark Mansion Tarot, which is going to give us the reading in particular. So let's start off with our theme for the month. So Scorpio, we're shuffling the cards and we're just asking for a single card to come through. A single card that's going to be the overall energy theme for all of you for the month of February 2022. So let's shuffle and see which card wants to come through. Okay, and we're going to take that one over there. Let's have a look and see. Theme for February for Scorpio energy. Openness. Oh, I like it. So we've got the full moon, we've got all the kind of stars and constellations taking place, and it is about being open. It's about being open and receptive, and it's about not having any kind of preconceived ideas around what, who, when, and how. So it's about just being open to opportunity, open to situations. And also what I get with this card for you, Scorpio, is about taking advantage of circumstances and situations as they present themselves. Just like we have in this particular card, the full moon. And we know that the full moon happens at least every 28 days. We know that it is just a cycle that the moon goes through, but we know that with each change of the moon, we have different energies and different properties and different, different things that we have available to us or access to. And we think differently, we feel differently depending on the phase of the moon. And I think it's just being open to that and not allowing yourself to be too restrictive in your thoughts and in your processes. Okay, so that's going to be the theme for the month ahead. I'm going to leave it right over there on the table, and we're now going to move into your tarot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the tarot cards and I'm going to lay them out all face up, and then once they're all laid out and positioned on the table, I will start the reading. So we're looking at, I'm going to lay out quite a few cards. We're doing quite an in-depth reading for everybody, and we just want to get the cards shuffled and just get the energy of Scorpio for February 2022 into the cards. Bad shuffling as always. You all know what I'm like. You all know I'm a terrible, terrible shuffler. Let's just do one riffle just to get the energies going. Okay, so Scorpio, let's look at February 2022 for each one of you. I'm going to cut the deck over there and let's lay out the cards. Okay, it's interesting how often that card has come up in all my February readings. It's made quite a few appearances, which is actually very interesting indeed. Okay, I'm just going to lay all the cards and then we will look at them in particular and make the changes that we need. Not the changes, sorry, then give the reading as we need to. Just trying to make sure that I position neatly because you've got to look at it for a while. All right, there we have it. Good. Trying to see where to put the cards down. Okay, so Scorpio, we've got all the cards laid out. Let's just get an overall kind of view of what we're looking at here. It seems to be quite an even mix, actually. You know, that's like, I'm not seeing anything in particular. Like, you don't have an excess of one kind of card over another kind of card. There seems to be a fairly even mix of topics, of cards, of so forth, which again ties in so beautifully with our theme of being open, of openness for the month ahead. So nothing particularly stands out, nothing particularly is grabbing my attention. So it seems like this is going to be a really, really strong overview, or I'm going to call it a general energy for the month ahead. We're going to start with this card in this corner here, and this is the Strength card. It is a Major Arcana card of strength. I love it, and as I said, this card has come up so many times in these February readings. It's actually quite surprising. I say that, but actually I'm open to it not being surprising because, you know, it makes sense that every single one of us are needing to dig deep. Every single one of us are needing to find our true inner strength, our true inner courage, and to recognize exactly what we're made of, what we're capable of, and not being afraid to show that. You know, we've come from an era where everybody was trying to prove a point and everybody was trying to be somebody, possibly, and most of the time trying to be somebody that we're not. And Scorpio, you're at a point in your life now where you're sort of saying, you know what, this is who I am. Take it or leave it, like it or lump it. It doesn't really matter. I know who I am. I'm confident in who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am, and I'm not prepared to show or to be anything less than that. I'm trying to hide the cards in the background so that the camera will focus, but I'm not succeeding. So I'm going to give it up. So, and now of course it goes out of focus. So Scorpio, this is Spirit saying to you that you're coming into the month of February feeling pretty good, okay? You're coming into the month feeling super confident, knowing your strengths and limitations, knowing what you're capable of doing, but also knowing the potential of what you're able to do and what you're able to achieve. It's very interesting that, you know, with openness here, it's about not setting the expectations too high. So it's about being honest with yourself about what you are actually capable of doing. And the reason why, okay, the reason why this is relevant, the reason why this is how you need to be feeling or how you are feeling, because the challenges that you're experiencing this month are heartbreak. So what we have in this particular card is we've got this heart locket, and you can see that there's somebody's hair in it, and it's somebody who has caused pain and discomfort. It's somebody who maybe we've lost, all right? So this is the card of heartbreak, and it's showing that life hasn't been easy. It's showing that you've had your fair share of challenges and difficulties, that it hasn't been an easy ride for you. And you may have found that over the last short period of time, that things have become really, really tight, really, really hard, and really, really uncomfortable. And it's about acknowledging that, but it's also about making sure that this doesn't stop us from being who we are. It's about being open to life, open into opportunities, open to situations, but also about having the courage and the confidence to say, you know what, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There's still so much more than I can do. There's still so much more that I want to do. There's so much more that I'm capable of doing, even though things haven't always gone according to plan, even though there has been pain, discomfort, suffering, heartache, disappointment, etc. Even though all of that is taking place, I'm still able to carry on, and I am acknowledging and I am open to any new opportunities that are coming. So I like that for you, Scorpio, because it shows that I'm going to call it your mindset, is open to possibilities, to endless possibilities. And you're not boxing yourself. You're not limiting and restricting yourself and saying, this is my reality and that's all I can do. I can't do anything different. This is it. You're open to opportunities and situations. We've got an additional confirmation of challenge here. Okay. So the challenge was heartbreak and disappointment and suffering. And here we have more of the same. And this is just spirit confirming, just acknowledging how really tough it has been for you, that you've gone through a month or two or three or four of continuous, repetitive disappointments and heartache. You know, in this particular case, she's looking at these cups across the bottom here that have now fallen over, they're empty, there's nothing left. So it's almost like she's sitting rock bottom within herself and she has nothing left. Okay. And it really has been, and we're trying so hard to put our pain in a locket. We're trying so hard to capture it and to resist it and to put it somewhere so that we can control it and navigate it. But actually, the truth of the matter is, we have these moments of vulnerability, don't we? And you know what, Scorpio? I think this is Spirit saying to you, it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be vulnerable. It's absolutely okay to have these moments where you just want to shed your tears, where you just want to cry. But you know what? While you're feeling that way, while you're having this moment of disappointment and sadness, the sun comes up for another day. You know, it's about this being open to the cycles and the patterns of life, and recognizing that even though you're suffering, life moves on. And I think, you know, it's not saying that you're missing anything or that you need to be doing something differently. It's just about recognizing that even though you're going through something, even though there's pain and discomfort and tragedy taking place in your life, you still have the ability deep inside your soul, deep inside your heart, to actually pick yourself up, to dust yourself off, and to carry on. You have these moments where you feel vulnerable, where you're feeling the pain and where you're expressing it, but thereafter you're picking yourself up and you're dusting yourself off. Now, the interesting thing as well here that comes through is this beautiful High Priestess card. You know, she's so wise. Look at that book that she has on her lap. Look at the knowledge that she contains, the knowledge or the information that she has access to. You know, she has it all right there in her lap. um and we look at her attire, let's say. You don't get to that status in life without your own experiences, without, you know, having understanding and compassion and empathy for pain, for happiness, for success, for all of that. But it's also about self-sacrifice, isn't it? Now, the High Priestess says that, you know, in your heart of hearts, and I'm going to actually put her with our Strength card, because you don't get to this place without having to rely on and to lean on and to be this person. It's almost like they go hand in hand. She's trusting herself. She knows her abilities. She knows what she's capable of and she knows what she needs to do, as does she. They work in two very different ways. One thing a high priestess is not is overly emotional, okay? She understands emotions. She has managed to get a handle on her own emotions. So she would never allow herself to succumb to pain and difficulty and struggles, because she's going to push through, because she recognizes that that's what she needs to do. She recognizes that she is stronger than anybody realizes, and that she contains and that she has all the answers to life, all the answers to life. And it's about trusting that. So I am going to say to you, Scorpio, for the month of February, instead of allowing yourself this, okay, we can have this in limited quantity or in short quantities or in short time spans. But the truth of the matter is, this is where our focus needs to be. Our focus needs to be on being open, on being receptive, on being available for opportunities and for the way, just for how things are going to unfold for you. And the way that you're going to do this is by helping other people, by being there for other people, by acknowledging the pain and the suffering of other people. Now, this particular card is a very interesting depiction of the Six of Pentacles. Traditionally, in the Six of Pentacles, we wouldn't see these coins over here. What we would see is somebody who has excess, somebody who has extra to spare, offering to somebody who looks like they don't have extra, somebody who looks like they are in need. Now, in this particular card, suddenly we can see that they've actually got more than she does. They started off on equal footing, 3 and 3, but now the lady in red is offering one of hers to this young girl, who will then end up with 4, and our lady will only end up with 2. So it's about, what is equal. I mean, that's a whole topic, a whole conversation as well. What does it mean to have more? And who's greedy here? Who's living the better life? Who's happier? And let me tell you, the quantity of coin in no way determines that. The quantity of coin no way determines happiness, joy, and success in life. What determines joy? What determines happiness? What determines success is the expression on the face. And if you look at this little girl's expression, she's smiling, she's happy, she's content. She's quite okay with everything that's going on around her. Whereas our lady over there, she seems to be quite focused. I'm going to use the phrase and say she's quite proper. Okay, whereas this little girl is just like, oh, cool, yay, thank you, life is good, life is happy, and she's going to go and buy herself a toy or whatever it is that kids do. But it's about you recognizing where the truth is, and where do you fit in. Is this where you want to be, or is this where you want to be, or is this where you want to be? And I think, Scorpio, for you, it's being open to everything. No labels, no limits, no restrictions, no confinements. Okay, Spirit is saying to you, Scorpio, that February is going to be about you being open to anything and everything, looking at each situation as it unfolds, looking at each situation when it happens, how it happens, and making your decision based in that moment. So not giving yourself the chance to overthink things, not allowing yourself the chance to be restricted or controlled or limited in any way. It's about being open to being greedy at times, being generous at times, being kind at times, or being selfish at times, because each circumstance in your life requires a different outcome, requires a different behavior. And this is what your February is going to be all about. And this one also really, really intrigues me for you, Scorpio, because what we have now is you again standing over here in front of these cubicles. And each cubicle contains something completely different. So we've got from snakes to jewels to a castle to a little dragon in the bottom right corner. There's just so much on offer here, okay? And it's like, well, which one are you going to go for? What are you going to take? What are you going to accept? Which is the one that appeals to you? Which is the one? And when faced with so many decisions, when faced with so many choices, we can really get caught up into the analysis of it and say, oh, but if I take the jewels, I could sell the jewels and have money, and then I could buy a castle. Or if I go with my spirituality, or if I go with temptation, or if I go with, we can open up the pros and the cons, and we can discuss it forever. But I think, again, the message from this particular card for you is Spirit saying to you, be open to anything. Be open to everything. Okay, Scorpio? It's really important. We know you're capable. We know it's been tough. We know it's been hard. But you have to trust yourself. You have to look within your own heart space to see the truth of who and what you are. You need to adjust yourself based on circumstances. You need to be able to read what's going on around you. And you also need to recognize that you will never be limited or restricted in choice. You will always have options, always have options. And if the options don't suit you today, wait for tomorrow, because it'll change. And tomorrow will be different. And tomorrow you will have better opportunities. So when I look at this top row, Scorpio Spirit is saying to you that, yeah, it's not easy. You're going through something really difficult at the moment, but actually, you need to be quick thinking and quick reacting, and you need to adjust yourself accordingly and not be limited or restricted in who and what and how you are. Okay, we're now going to have a look at the 4 cards across the bottom here. So Scorpio, this is how people see you. Okay, so in your life, in your month, as you go through the month of February, people are going to look at you and people are going to see that you're living this fabulous life. People are going to see you, you know, with your family and your friends and living the high life and having everything your heart desires. The life that you are portraying is a life of bliss, a life of ease, a life of happiness. Nobody is seeing this. Nobody is seeing the discomfort and the hurt and the pain. Nobody is seeing how people are taking advantage of you and how, you know, you're overwhelmed with how many choices. Nobody is seeing that you're having to dig deep within yourself to overcome and to handle. Everybody sees you as somebody who lives this idyllic life and everything works out and everything's easy and everything's simple and everything's uncomplicated. That is how people perceive you. That is how people are seeing you. But this is what you're feeling. This is what's going on the inside. I mean, let's just put them side by side. And I mean, even without having any knowledge of tarot, without having any knowledge of what's on these cards or the images, you can see that they talk very different stories. I mean, here we've got happy family, we've got picnic, we've got cake, we've got all these kind of things. And here we've got nightmares, stress, you know, lack of sleep, staying up all night and having all of these fears and stresses and anxieties coming through. So people see you as somebody who's simple, you know, easy, fabulous life. But the truth of the matter is you've got your fair share of worries. You've got your fair share of concerns. Your stress levels and your anxiety levels are right up there with the best of them. Okay. And again, this is just a confirmation from Spirit that we see you. We see you. We know what you're going through. And it's also very interesting that these 3 cards are in this connection here. We've got these 2 where we're putting on a brave face and we're showing a positive exterior and we're showing like everything's okay and, you know, we've got it all figured out. But we've got the sadness, the disappointment, the hurt, the stress, the worry, and the anxiety here. Here we've got options. And here we've got options, okay? But I do think I need to bring this openness back into it, because Scorpio Spirit is sort of saying to you here that, you know, you've always got choice. Okay, we've always got choice. You can choose to get sucked into that scenario, or you can choose to change. But you have to be open to all things all the time. You must never allow yourself to have a limited mindset, restricted mindset. That is absolutely not allowed. We need to be open to opportunities. We need to be open to Spirit helping and working with you, because it certainly looks like in February Spirit want to do that. And this is why we have this card next, the 8 of Swords. Now, Scorpio, if we look at this particular 8 of Swords, I mean, first of all, her dress is just absolutely gorgeous. She's out in the forest, as we can see. She can't see. The wind is blowing. Her hands are tied behind her back. The wind is blowing. Her hair is now in front of her eyes, which means that she cannot actually see. And the swords are piercing her dress. Okay, so the swords are piercing her dress, which means that she is stuck. She feels like she can't move without ruining her dress. But the truth of the matter is, her hands are not tied. She thinks they are. Okay, her mindset believes that they are. There may be a very little ribbon that's tied around it, so she can feel there is something there, But in her mind, it's become a huge, big problem. So she's keeping herself in this place on purpose. Maybe these swords have actually been placed around her dress not to capture her or to retain her or to hold her, but because you can see how the wind is blowing by her hair. So maybe these swords have been placed there to hold her dress in place. So they're not there to limit and restrict her. What they are there is to make it easier for her. It's about being open, and it's about the way that you perceive the reality, the truth, and your circumstance. And Scorpio, this is Spirit saying to you, be open to options, be open to particulars, be open to other situations and other circumstances. Don't let your thinking restrict your reality, because sometimes the way that we imagine things, the way that we perceive things is very different from the reality. And that's what this card is all about. It's about understanding our initial reactions could actually be completely wrong and could be restricting our thinking. We need to be open to options. And finally, Scorpio, we have this card. Now, it is the card that everybody dreads. It is the card that you've probably been staring at for a while, going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I hope that's not the case. If that is the case, I am going to ask you, once I've spoken about this card, I am going to ask you to rewatch this whole video, because if this has been preventing you, you haven't been open. Okay? If you've been focusing on this card and focusing on this word and focusing on this instead of listening and being open to everything else that's been discussed, I am going to ask you to please go back and watch again, because we don't want this card to limit or restrict us. Now, I am going to say to you, this is inevitable, okay? And what this is, because I'm not using that word, I refuse to use that word because that word is not relevant. It's not appropriate. It's not what this card means. This card means change, and change is inevitable. Be open to it. And Scorpios, I know most of you, okay? I'm going to go 90%. 90% of all Scorpios don't like change. We don't. We want things to stay the same. They can improve, they can, get better, but ever so slightly over a period of time. But change, no, we don't want change. And Scorpio, this is Spirit saying to you, you've got to dig deep. You've got to dig deep and find your courage, find your conviction, find your stamina, find all of those things. Trust and believe in yourself. Be aware of what's going on around you. Recognize the choices that you have available to you. We need to overcome our limiting self-beliefs, and we need to embrace the change. February is going to be about major change in your life. Things are shifting to a whole nother dimension, and you have to be open to it. So this card, that keyword, and actually, let me just, I didn't pick it up because I didn't want to make it worse, but let's just look at the artwork on this card, if the camera will behave and focus on it for me. So when we look at the artwork on this card, you can see we have the skeleton figure, and he's sitting on, I'm going to call it the roadside, okay? He's sitting on the roadside, and it's almost like he's waiting. And he's been sitting there for so long that he's become a skeleton, all right? He's been sitting there for so long, waiting for somebody to walk through the gate, for somebody to come through, and it's just not happening. And I think this is exactly what Spirit is saying to you, Scorpio, said if you sit around waiting for opportunities, for situations, for circumstances, you're going to be waiting a long time. It's time for us to embrace. It's time for us to be open to the changes, to opportunities as they present themselves. And you're going to find yourself needing to embrace change in the month of February. The person you were in 2021 doesn't exist anymore. That person has ceased to exist. You are somebody different. Your life is different. Your needs, wants, and desires are different. Your responses and reactions to everything are different. You are different. Be open to it, embrace it, accept it, and be content and comfortable and happy with the person that you are. You are no longer the same person. And do you want to be? Like, do you want to be? If you embrace who you are now, and if you just really take it in, I can assure you that what the life that you're moving towards and what's coming up next for you is going to be so much better than what you had in the past. But you need to embrace the change. Okay, you got this, Scorpio. Be open to change. with love and blessings from my heart to yours. I hope you have an amazing February. And until we connect again, take care.